My beautiful souls who are listening right now, let's talk about something that might shake your heart a little. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. Life is not meant to be spent in a cozy corner where everything feels safe, predictable, and easy. It's meant to be lived, to be felt, to be challenged. Yet most people choose comfort over courage, ease over effort, and familiarity over growth. And then they wonder why nothing ever changes. Think about it. The person who never dares to step out of their routine never discovers who they could truly become. Growth doesn't happen when life feels smooth. It happens when your hands tremble, when fear whispers, "Don't." But your heart answers, "Do it anyway." That's where transformation begins. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful had to face uncertainty, pain, and failure. They had nights of doubt and mornings of courage. But what made them different is they didn't run from discomfort. They used it as their teacher. If you keep choosing comfort, your dreams will remain just dreams. But if you choose the unknown, if you take one brave step beyond your limits, you'll discover strength you never knew existed. Because real growth doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from daring to step into the fire and trusting that you'll rise stronger from the ashes. Are you ready to grow? Then let's begin this journey together. Point 1. The trap of comfort. Why most people stay stuck. Let's be honest. Comfort feels good. Who doesn't want a life where everything is easy, predictable, and smooth? Waking up at the same time, going to the same job, talking to the same people, eating the same food, following the same routine. It feels safe. There's no risk, no pain, no rejection. It's a space where you can breathe without fear of failure. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to face. Comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't destroy you suddenly. It slowly steals your potential, your dreams, and your fire for life. Think about it. Every great thing you've ever achieved came from a moment when you decided to step out of comfort. The first time you tried something new, it was scary, right? Maybe your hands shook, your heart raced, and your mind screamed, "What if I fail?" But you did it anyway. That's where growth began. The moment you face discomfort, you start unlocking parts of yourself you never knew existed. But most people stop there. They step back the second life gets tough. They tell themselves, "Maybe it's not for me," or "I'll try again later." And that's how comfort wins. It convinces you that staying safe is smarter than taking risks. Let me share something real. I once met a man who spent 30 years in the same job. Every day looked exactly the same. He wanted to start his own business, but every time he thought about it, fear held him back. He told me, "What if I fail? What if I lose everything?" So he stayed where he was. Years later, when his company downsized and he lost his job, he sat there and said something that broke my heart. "I wasted my life being safe." That's the truth about comfort. It makes you believe you're secure, but deep down, it's just keeping you small. Comfort is addictive. The more you live in it, the more afraid you become of stepping out. Your mind starts building invisible walls. "I can't do that. I'm too old. I'm not ready." Those walls aren't real, but they feel real because comfort whispers them every day. Over time, your potential fades, your dreams die, and your spirit becomes dull. You might still smile, still function, still survive, but you stop living. Growth, on the other hand, demands discomfort. It asks for effort, sacrifice, and courage. It forces you to face rejection, failure, and uncertainty. But that's where transformation happens. Just like a seed has to break before it grows, you too must go through pain before you bloom. If you want a stronger body, you push it beyond its limits. If you want a sharper mind, you challenge it with new knowledge. And if you want a fulfilled life, you must walk through discomfort with faith. People often wait for the right time to take action. But here's a secret. There's no right time. There's only now. The more you wait, the stronger your comfort zone becomes. It's like quicksand. The longer you stay, the harder it is to escape. The only way out is movement. One small step every day. Even if it's scary. Even if you fail. Even if no one believes in you. Because every time you step forward despite fear, you expand your comfort zone. You grow stronger, wiser, and freer. Life will never reward comfort. It rewards courage. So ask yourself today, what are you avoiding because it's uncomfortable? Maybe it's a conversation, a dream, a decision, or a change. Whatever it is, that's exactly where your growth lies. The version of you that you've always wanted to be is waiting on the other side of that fear. Remember this forever. Nothing extraordinary ever happens in comfort. The world outside your safety is where your purpose lives, where your passion burns, and where your true self awakens. Don't let the illusion of safety steal your destiny. Step out, even if your legs tremble. That's how greatness begins. One brave move beyond comfort. Point 2. Discomfort is the real teacher. Pain shapes power. Most people run from discomfort as if it's something evil. We treat pain, failure, and uncertainty like enemies. But what if they're actually our greatest teachers? What if the very moments that hurt the most are the ones shaping us into the people we're meant to become? That's the part so many miss. Growth is not born in comfort. It's born in struggle. Every strong person you admire today once walked through fire, not luxury. When life puts you in uncomfortable situations, it's not punishing you. It's preparing you. It's testing your strength, sharpening your mind, and stretching your capacity. Think of it like this. When you go to the gym, you don't lift light weights just to stay comfortable. You lift heavier ones to build muscle. The pain you feel during that workout isn't weakness. It's growth in progress. The same thing happens in life. Emotional, mental, or spiritual pain. All of it is shaping you for something greater. Let me tell you a real story. There was a young woman who lost her job unexpectedly. She had bills to pay, a family to feed, and zero backup plan. At first, she was crushed. Sleepless nights, endless worry, no direction. But she refused to stay broken. Out of that discomfort, she decided to start a small home business. It wasn't easy. There were rejections, slow days, and moments of doubt. But within 2 years, that same woman built something she once thought impossible: financial independence. Later, she said, "Losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to discover what I could really do." That's the power of discomfort. Pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to rebuild you. When everything feels easy, you stay the same. But when life gets hard, you evolve. Discomfort reveals your hidden strength. It shows you what you can survive, what you can overcome, and how deeply you can rise. The problem is, Most people never give themselves the chance to learn from pain. They escape it too quickly. They numb it with distractions, scrolling, gossip, complaining, anything to avoid facing their own growth process. But growth doesn't come through escape. It comes through endurance. If you want to build mental toughness, you must stop running from what scares you. Lean into it. Feel the discomfort. Listen to what it's trying to teach you. Every painful experience carries a lesson. Patience, discipline, humility, courage. When you start viewing challenges as lessons instead of curses, your whole life changes. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift alone can transform your future. Life will never promise comfort, but it always promises opportunity, even inside pain. Sometimes what feels like a breakdown is actually a breakthrough. Sometimes what feels like rejection is redirection. But you'll never see it if you keep avoiding the heat. Fire doesn't only burn, it also purifies. It removes what's weak so what's strong can remain. So, the next time life pushes you to your limits, don't fight it. Don't say, "I can't handle this." Instead, whisper, "This is making me stronger." Because it is. Every challenge is carving the real you, the powerful, wiser, unstoppable version hiding inside your comfort. Remember, diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles are built under strain. And character, true, unshakable character, is formed through pain. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your invitation to grow. If you can embrace it instead of avoiding it, you'll become unstoppable. One day you'll look back and realize the pain you hated was the foundation of the strength you now love. That's the miracle of discomfort. It hurts today, but it heals your future. So don't run. Stay. Learn. Grow. Because nothing beautiful grows in comfort, but everything meaningful is born through the struggle you survive. Point 3. Fear. The wall between you and your next level. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people never leave their comfort zone. It whispers lies. You're not ready. You'll fail. People will laugh, and you start believing them. But here's the truth. Fear is not your enemy. It's your signal. It's a sign that you're standing right at the edge of growth. The closer you get to something meaningful, the louder fear becomes. That's how it works. It tries to protect you, but in doing so, it often traps you. Most people mistake fear for a stop sign, when in reality, it's just a test. It's the universe asking, "How badly do you really want this?" The ones who step through fear don't do it because they're fearless. They do it even though they're terrified. That's the difference. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. I once met a young man who dreamed of becoming a public speaker, but he had severe stage fright. Just the thought of speaking in front of others made his hands sweat and his heart race. For years, he avoided every opportunity that could have helped him grow. One day, tired of being stuck, he forced himself to speak at a small community event. His voice cracked, his legs trembled, but he finished. And after that one terrifying experience, something shifted inside him. The fear didn't vanish, but it shrank. Today, he speaks to thousands, and every time he says, "I still feel fear, but now I know it doesn't control me." That's what happens when you walk through fear. Your world expands. The more you face it, the smaller it gets. But the more you run from it, the stronger it becomes. Fear feeds on avoidance. It grows in silence. It thrives when you play small. That's why staying in your comfort zone feels safe, but actually builds invisible chains around your dreams. So, if you're scared right now, good. That means you're standing at the doorway of something important. Feel it, breathe through it, and take that first shaky step anyway. Every step you take through fear builds confidence. Every challenge you face becomes a memory of strength. One day you'll look back and say, "I can't believe I was once afraid of this." Fear will always be there. Even the most successful people still feel it. But the ones who grow are the ones who act anyway. They don't let fear write their story. They use it as fuel. Because on the other side of fear lies everything you've ever wanted. Freedom, growth, and the life you're meant to live. So don't let fear decide your limits. Step through it. Walk toward the unknown. Because that's where your next level waits. Not in safety, not in ease, but just beyond the wall of fear. Point 4. The pain of staying the same. Hurts more than change. There's a truth that hits hard once you realize it. The pain of staying the same is far greater than the pain of change. We often cling to the comfort zone because it feels easier, but deep down, it eats away at us. Every day you ignore your potential, a small part of you fades. Every time you silence your dreams just to stay safe, your spirit gets a little weaker. Comfort might protect you from failure, but it also steals your growth, your excitement, and your sense of purpose. Think about it. How many times have you stayed in situations that didn't make you happy just because they were familiar? The same job, the same relationship, the same habits. You keep telling yourself, "At least it's not worse." But that's not living. That's surviving. And surviving without growing is a slow kind of dying. There was a man who once told me, "I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy either." That sentence alone says everything. He wasn't in pain, but he wasn't at peace. He wasn't falling, but he wasn't rising either. He was stuck, frozen in comfort. Years passed, and one day he said something that stayed with me forever. "I wish I had chosen the pain of change earlier, instead of the regret of staying the same." See, growth always demands something from you. It might ask for your sleep, your comfort, your old habits, or your fear. But in return, it gives you something priceless: self-respect. Because every time you choose progress over comfort, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. Change hurts, yes. It confuses you, stretches you, and sometimes even breaks you. But that pain leads somewhere. It's the pain of healing, of evolving, of becoming. The pain of staying the same, on the other hand, goes nowhere. It just keeps circling back, reminding you every morning that you could have been more. One day, life will push you to make a choice. Stay comfortable and stagnant, or take the hard road and grow. When that moment comes, remember this: comfort may feel warm, but it's temporary. Growth may feel cold at first, but it brings long-term peace. The only way to truly live is to choose the pain that leads to transformation, not the one that comes from regret. So don't wait for the perfect time. Don't keep saying, "someday," because someday never comes. Start now, while your heart still beats with desire. Because when you step into the unknown, yes, it will hurt, but that pain will shape you into someone unstoppable. The pain of change is temporary. The pain of staying the same lasts forever. Point 5. Growth begins where excuses end. Excuses are the invisible chains that keep people locked inside their comfort zones. They sound harmless, even logical. I don't have time, I'm too tired, I'm not ready yet. But behind every excuse lies fear, doubt, and a lack of belief. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment to start. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Growth begins only when you stop making excuses and start taking action, even when everything feels uncertain. Let's face it, excuses feel comfortable. They protect your ego from failure. They give you a reason to stay where you are without guilt. But in reality, they slowly build a wall between you and your dreams. The more you repeat them, the stronger that wall gets. And before you know it, you've built a prison made of your own words. And you're the one holding the key. I remember meeting a woman who always wanted to write a book. For years, she told herself, "I'll start when I have more time." But every year, life gave her new reasons not to. Work, family, health, stress. Decades passed. One day, after her children were grown and life finally slowed down, she said, "Now I have the time, but not the energy." Her eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "I wish I hadn't waited for the perfect moment." It never came. That's the tragedy of excuses. They feel safe today, but cost you your future tomorrow. Every person who has ever grown beyond average learned to face their excuses head on. They didn't have more time, money, or talent. They simply had the courage to begin. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They took messy, imperfect action and learned along the way. That's the secret. Success isn't about perfect conditions. It's about persistence despite conditions. You'll always have a reason not to start. Fear, doubt, comfort, or even pride. But excuses will never build the life you dream of. Every time you choose an excuse, you delay your destiny. Every time you push past one, you move closer to your potential. The moment you say, "No more excuses," something powerful happens. Your mindset shifts from "I can't" to "I must." So ask yourself right now, what's the excuse that's holding you back? Be honest, then challenge it. Because once you remove your excuses, nothing can stop you. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about movement. Even the smallest step forward is better than standing still with 1,000 reasons why you can't. Life rewards those who dare to take action, not those who wait for comfort. Stop waiting for the right time. Create it. Excuses end where your true life begins. The moment you stop protecting your limitations, you'll finally see how limitless you really are. Point 6. The power of taking the first step. Every journey toward growth begins with one simple, often terrifying action. The first step. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to happen. That first move beyond your comfort zone is where transformation starts. But sadly, most people never take it. They stand on the edge of possibility, looking down at their fears, waiting for the fear to go away. But it never does. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to move through it. The truth is, the first step always feels the hardest because it demands faith. You're stepping into something unknown, without a guarantee. Your mind screams, "What if I fail?" But the question you should ask instead is, "What if I fly?" What if that single brave move changes everything? Every successful person you've ever admired started with one unsure step. They didn't know how things would turn out. They just knew staying the same was no longer an option. Take, for example, a young man I once met who wanted to lose weight. For years, he planned, researched, and told himself he'd start next week. But one day, after realizing how unhappy he'd become, he decided to just walk, not run, not join a gym, just walk. That one step turned into two into 10, and months later, he was running miles. When asked what changed, he said, "Nothing magical. I just took the first step. That's all it takes. Not confidence, not perfection. Just a beginning." Here's something powerful to remember. Motion creates momentum. When you take that first action, no matter how small, life begins to respond. Opportunities appear, people show up, energy builds. But none of that happens if you don't start. The comfort zone keeps you still. Courage sets things in motion. You'll never feel fully ready to take that first step, and that's okay. Readiness is an illusion. If you wait until everything feels safe, you'll wait forever. The only real way to prepare is to begin. And once you do, something beautiful happens. Your fear starts to shrink, your confidence starts to grow, and the path ahead becomes clearer. Every mountain you'll ever climb begins with one step. Every dream you'll ever achieve begins with one choice: to start. Don't underestimate that power. You don't need to know the entire road. You just need to trust that the next step will reveal itself. So today, ask yourself, what's the first small action you can take toward the life you want? Maybe it's making a call, writing a plan, signing up, or simply saying yes. Whatever it is, do it now. Because the distance between who you are and who you want to be is only one step, the one you're afraid to take. And once you take it, you'll never be the same again. Point 7. Discipline. The bridge between comfort and growth. If motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you moving. Everyone feels inspired at the beginning of a journey, when the goal looks exciting and the dream feels close. But when the excitement fades and reality starts testing you, that's where most people stop. They say, "It's too hard," or "maybe later." What separates those who grow from those who give up isn't talent, luck, or opportunity. It's discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. See, comfort whispers, "Take a break. You deserve to rest. You can do it tomorrow." And while rest is necessary, comfort uses it as a trap. Growth, on the other hand, demands consistency. It doesn't care about moods or excuses. It asks you to show up again and again until results appear. That's what discipline is. Showing up, especially when it's not easy. There was a young woman I once knew who wanted to change her life through fitness. She started with enthusiasm, new clothes, a perfect plan, high energy. But after 2 weeks, the results were slow, her motivation faded, and excuses took over. One morning, she decided she wouldn't quit this time. Every day she showed up, rain or shine, even on days she didn't feel like it. Months later, she had not only transformed her body, but her mindset too. She said, "Discipline made me fall in love with my own strength." That's the real reward. Not just achieving goals, but discovering who you become in the process. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. You'll fail sometimes, you'll get tired, but you keep going anyway. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you build trust within. And that self-trust is the foundation of unstoppable confidence. Motivation might get you through a day, but discipline gets you through a lifetime. If you only act when it's convenient, you'll never grow. The comfort zone rewards pleasure, but the growth zone rewards persistence. Discipline is the bridge between the two. When you master it, you no longer rely on fleeting emotions. You become guided by purpose, not mood. Remember this: you won't always feel inspired, but you can always be disciplined. Even small, consistent actions lead to massive results over time. Wake up, show up, repeat. The results will come. Because discipline is the quiet power that transforms dreams into reality. So, when your comfort zone tries to pull you back, when your mind says, "Not today," remind yourself, this is the moment growth happens. Every time you push through resistance, you're teaching your future self how to win. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and one day you'll look back and realize, it was never motivation that changed your life. It was your discipline. Point 8. Embrace failure. The stepping stone to success. One of the hardest truths about growth is that failure is not optional. It's inevitable. If you want to leave your comfort zone, you will fail. And most people fear failure so much that they never try. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. And in doing so, they never experience the growth they were capable of. But here's the secret: failure is not the enemy. In fact, it is one of your greatest teachers. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has failed countless times. Every invention, every breakthrough, every achievement came after trial, error, and often public embarrassment. Failure shows you what doesn't work, pushes you to rethink strategies, and forces you to discover inner strengths you never knew existed. The pain of failure is temporary, but the lessons it teaches can last a lifetime. I remember meeting a young entrepreneur who had started a business and failed within the first year. He was devastated, ready to give up, thinking he was not capable. But instead of quitting, he analyzed what went wrong, learned from his mistakes, and started again with more knowledge, resilience, and determination. A few years later, that same man built a company that now employs hundreds and inspires thousands. He told me, "Failing was the best thing that happened to me. It made me realize I was stronger than I thought." Failure also breaks the illusion of safety. When you fail, you discover that life continues, that pain fades, and that you are capable of handling more than you imagined. Every failure chips away at fear, and every time you get back up, you expand the boundaries of your comfort zone. It's like building resilience muscle. The more you endure, the stronger you become. Avoiding failure may feel comfortable, but it guarantees stagnation. Every time you don't take the risk, you stay small. Every time you avoid the challenge, you delay growth. Growth does not come from success alone. It comes from trying, failing, and trying again with courage and humility. So, the next time you feel the fear of failing, remember this: failure is not the end. It's the beginning of your learning, your evolution, and your rise. Don't run from it. Step into it, embrace it, and let it teach you. Because the only real failure in life is never trying at all. Every failure is a stepping stone toward the person you are destined to become. The comfort zone may promise safety, but failure promises growth. Choose growth. Take the risk. Step forward. Fail. Learn. And rise stronger than ever before. Point 9. Surround yourself with growth. People shape your comfort zone. One of the most powerful but overlooked truths about leaving your comfort zone is this: the people around you define the limits of what you believe is possible. Your friends, family, and colleagues can either lift you higher or keep you stuck. Comfort isn't just a physical or mental space, it's often social. If the people around you are afraid of change, resistant to growth, or stuck in their own comfort zones, they will unconsciously keep you there too. Think about it. How many times have you felt excited about a goal only to hear, "Are you sure? That sounds risky." Or, "You've always done it this way, why change now?" At first it may feel like concern, but over time, repeated doubts from others can erode your courage. You begin to believe that stepping out is dangerous or unnecessary. That's the subtle power of comfort. It hides behind familiar faces and familiar opinions, convincing you that staying small is safe. I once met a woman who dreamed of launching her own business. She shared her plans with friends and family, hoping for encouragement, but instead she was met with hesitation and doubt. For months, she held back, letting their fears become her own. Then one day, she decided to trust herself instead of others. She surrounded herself with mentors, driven individuals, and people who believed in growth. Slowly, her confidence grew. Within a year, she launched a thriving venture, and she later said, "The moment I chose my circle wisely, my life began to expand." This is why growth requires intentional relationships. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who push you beyond what you think is possible. Their energy will stretch your comfort zone, help you see new opportunities, and remind you that fear is temporary. Conversely, the wrong circle will reinforce excuses, fear, and stagnation. It's not easy to change your social environment. Some relationships will feel comfortable because they're familiar, even if they hold you back. But consider this: your future self depends on who you choose to spend your present with. People who have left their comfort zones successfully didn't just work on themselves. They chose allies who mirrored their vision, ambition, and courage. So today, look around. Who lifts you? Who limits you? Who inspires growth? And who keeps you comfortable? The answers will tell you where your comfort zone really is. Then take action. Seek out growth-minded individuals, mentors, and communities that push you. Because when you change your circle, you expand your possibilities, and the life waiting beyond comfort becomes visible, tangible, and achievable. Remember, your environment either confines you or propels you. Choose wisely, and watch your comfort zone transform into a launchpad for growth. Point 10. Celebrate small wins. Momentum is built, one step at a time. Growth is not a single giant leap. It's the accumulation of small steps taken consistently. Yet many people remain stuck in their comfort zones because they underestimate the power of tiny victories. They look at the big goal, a promotion, a new skill, a life change, and feel overwhelmed, thinking it's too far out of reach. That's when comfort sneaks in, whispering, "You're not ready yet," or "Start later." But real growth happens when you honor progress, no matter how small. Every small step you take beyond comfort is like depositing energy into a momentum bank. Each time you push through fear, tackle a challenge, or try something new, you build confidence. You tell your mind, I am capable. Over time, those small wins compound. They create belief, courage, and a track record that propels you forward. Ignoring them or waiting for a perfect moment allows comfort to hold you back and keeps your potential untapped. I met a man who wanted to improve his health. At first, he felt he needed to overhaul everything: strict diet, intense workouts, daily routines. It felt impossible, and he almost quit before he began. Then he realized he could start with one thing: a 10-minute walk each morning. It seemed insignificant at first, but he kept doing it consistently. That tiny action gave him confidence to take the next step: a healthier diet, longer exercise sessions, and eventually, a full lifestyle transformation. Looking back, he said, "It wasn't the big leap that changed me. It was starting small and celebrating every tiny success." Celebrating small wins also reinforces the habit of courage. Every time you reward yourself for stepping out of comfort, you teach your mind that discomfort is not a punishment. It's a path forward. That makes the next step easier, and the step after that even easier. Before long, your comfort zone isn't a cage. It becomes a launching pad for consistent growth. Remember, progress is rarely immediate. It's built slowly, intentionally, one courageous action at a time. Don't underestimate the power of small steps. They are the foundation of extraordinary transformation. Every time you move forward, even a little, you are proving to yourself that comfort no longer controls your destiny. Celebrate those wins, no matter how minor they seem, because each one is a brick in the bridge from where you are now to where you're meant to be. Growth is patient, consistent, and persistent. Start small, honor each victory, and watch momentum carry you beyond the limits of comfort. Point 11. Visualize your future. Your mind leads the way. One of the most powerful tools to break free from your comfort zone is your imagination. Not as a fantasy, but as a guide. Visualizing the life you want creates a mental blueprint, a roadmap that your subconscious can follow. Most people never do this. They drift through life, reacting to circumstances instead of designing them. They remain trapped in comfort because they can't see the possibilities that exist beyond it. But when you clearly picture your future, your mind starts working to make it real. Visualization is more than wishful thinking. It's preparation. When you imagine yourself succeeding, achieving, or taking action, you are rehearsing the emotions, challenges, and steps that reality will demand. Your brain begins to recognize opportunities, anticipate obstacles, and build confidence. Comfort zone living, on the other hand, starves this process. It keeps you small because your mind never stretches toward what's possible. I once spoke with a young woman who dreamed of speaking on stage to inspire others. For years, she hesitated, imagining all the ways she could fail, forgetting her words, looking foolish, being judged. One day, she decided to spend 10 minutes a day visualizing herself standing confidently in front of an audience. She imagined their reactions, the energy in the room, and the fulfillment she would feel. Within months, she found herself volunteering to speak at small events, then larger ones. Visualization had prepared her mind to handle reality, and eventually, she achieved what she once thought impossible. Your future self already exists in your mind. The clearer you picture it, the easier it becomes to take steps toward it. Comfort keeps you focused on what is. Visualization shifts your focus to what could be. It gives your courage a destination, your discipline a reason, and your fear a challenge to overcome. So today, close your eyes and see the life you want. Feel it. Sense the success, freedom, and growth as if it's happening now. Let that vision push you past hesitation and fear. Your comfort zone is a cage. Visualization is the key that unlocks the door. Every time you imagine and believe in your future self, you take one step closer to becoming that person. Remember, your mind leads, your actions follow. If you can see it, you can achieve it. But only if you act on that vision and step beyond comfort. The life you dream of is waiting. It begins in your mind and unfolds when you dare to move. Point 12. Commit to lifelong growth. Your comfort zone is never done. Here's the ultimate truth. Leaving your comfort zone is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong commitment. Growth doesn't have an endpoint. There will always be new challenges, higher goals, and greater versions of yourself waiting on the other side of discomfort. If you treat stepping out of your comfort zone as a single task, a one-off decision, you will eventually settle back into safety. Real transformation comes when you make growth a habit, a lifestyle, and a mindset. Every day presents opportunities to expand, small ones and big ones. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new skill, starting a difficult conversation, or learning something you've avoided. Each choice to embrace discomfort is a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, these choices compound, and your comfort zone gradually grows, giving you access to a life you never imagined. Those who stop growing become stagnant, not because they failed, but because they stopped committing to the process. I once met an older man who had spent his entire career in a comfortable routine. One day he realized he had no new goals, no challenges, and no excitement. He said to me, "I feel like life has passed me by while I stayed in my safe little box." He then made a choice to reinvent himself, taking courses, meeting new people, and embracing projects he would have once avoided. It wasn't easy, and fear came often, but year by year he discovered a joy and energy he had never known. His life became richer, more meaningful, and full of purpose, all because he committed to constant growth. The point is, comfort is never permanent. Life keeps moving, and your potential keeps expanding. The only way to keep up is to keep pushing yourself day after day, step by step, challenge by challenge. Don't wait for an extreme moment to force you into growth. Choose it consciously, consistently, and courageously. So, make a promise to yourself. You will never stop growing. You will face discomfort, fail, feel fear, and stumble. But you will keep stepping forward. Because a life confined to comfort is a life unlived. Growth is not just a goal. It's the very essence of being alive. Remember this. Nothing extraordinary ever comes from safety, predictability, or ease. Your true potential, your true joy, and your deepest fulfillment all exist beyond your comfort zone. Commit to lifelong growth, and your life will become a masterpiece crafted by courage, resilience, and relentless determination. If you've been holding yourself back, staying safe, or letting fear control your choices, it's time to break free. This channel is your guide to stepping out of comfort, embracing challenges, and unlocking your true potential. Here, you'll discover motivational insights, practical strategies, and real-life lessons that inspire action and change. Every video is designed to help you face fear, overcome self-doubt, and take deliberate steps toward the life you've always dreamed of. Growth isn't easy, but it's always worth it. We explore how to turn discomfort into strength, failure into wisdom, and small steps into extraordinary results. Join a community of people committed to personal transformation, courage, and relentless self-improvement. Subscribe, take the first step, and let's grow together. Because your best life doesn't start in comfort, it starts when you dare to move. Your journey begins now.